Hey, welcome back to the Time Vortex. Today we're checking out AI Dungeon. I thought after streaming Ocarina of Time Randomizer today that I wanted something more. I wanted to play more games, I wanted to stream a little bit more. And I think AI Dungeon is going to be just that one perfect little neat niche that I want to get into. So let's check this out. This is going to be the first time I've ever played this game. And I've seen a little bit of footage of it before, but I didn't really know what to expect. So I'm still kind of new to this. I haven't played it before, but I think we're going to come up with some interesting ideas, and this will just be a nice fun session, and we'll get lots of laughs out of it, I'm sure. So I've decided also, because I don't think this game has any sort of soundtrack or anything, that I'm going to play some royalty-free Vaporwave in the background. So if you'll give me just one moment here, I'll go ahead and set up the music just so we have some background noise, and it should be nice and engaging as well. So just one more moment here, and then we'll get right into AI Dungeon. Give me just one more moment here. I had both soundtracks queued up here, but it looks like I got a little lost again. Okay, there it is. Perfect. Alright, let's play this. Awesome, this should be great. Let me know if it gets a little too loud or a little too quiet, and I will adjust accordingly. Okay, Windows 10, you don't gotta automatically throw Windows all over the place just to make one thing work here. Perfect. I just want to scroll down a little bit too so I can queue up the next song. Awesome. Alright, let's jump right into it. AI Dungeon. So if you're unfamiliar with this game, it is basically a... Well, what are you doing now, Windows? I think OBS is just trying to tell me that it's recording this window. Okay, yeah. Cool. So if you're unfamiliar with this game, basically it's an AI script or a program that auto-generates all sorts of scenarios for you to enjoy, and sort of works kind of like Cleverbot almost. It sort of branches outward from the scenarios you put towards it and also the ones it creates. So this should be a very fun experience. I'm such a huge fan of Cleverbot. I mean, even to this day I'll go back and play it. Or I guess it's not really a game you can play, it's more of just a fun AI concept. But I think it is just so fun, and I think this is going to be in that same avenue. So let me just adjust the tunes a little bit here. I don't want to ruin my voice. This is kind of like a testing stream on top of being sort of like a one-off or a occasional stream also. I want to see how browser source capture works. And I sort of want to, test my own vocal cords at the same time. So this definitely will be, in a sense, a kind of testing stream. Okay, just wanted to pull up chat there, and let's get right into it. So pick a setting. I think I want to go with custom right away. So let's choose 6. Enter a prompt that describes who you are in the first couple sentences of where you start out. Example, you are a knight in the kingdom of Larian. You're hunting the evil dragon who has been terrorizing the kingdom. You enter the forest searching for the dragon and see So I have a few ideas for what I want to do here, but I've been thinking about this before I even started streaming on this Twitch channel. And I want to do a Doctor Who themed AI dungeon. I know, it's so obvious with my kind of name, Time Vortex. But I think it's just going to be super fun. I've thought of this over and over, and I just really want to try it. So let's say you are probably want proper capitalization here. You are the Doctor. You are on board a Type 102 TARDIS. And I think this will be really fun because I don't really know too much officially about the Type 102 TARDIS, but it is by far my favorite besides the Doctor's Type 40. So this should be really interesting if the AI is capable of picking up on this at all. If it knows anything about the Type 102 TARDIS, maybe I should add a little more information about that as well. You are the Doctor, you are on board a Type 102 TARDIS. A living TARDIS, formerly known as Laura Tobin. I think I'm gonna... I mean, if you know anything about the 8th Doctor's timeline, the Time Wars, etc., then you're gonna kind of know about the Type 102. There's quite a few different versions of Laura Tobin. So I'm also just gonna add a bit more context here. We're hurtling through space-time. Maybe I should just throw the AI for a loop here and say space-time, time-space. Yeah, I think that should make the AI freak out a little bit. And the one who used to go by many names of such... See, she also goes by Sylvan Kesh and Mary Culver. The one who... You're hurtling through space-time, time-space, and the one who used to go by many names of such include Mary Culver, Marley, Mary Culver, and Sylvan Kesh. I'm gonna have to look this up, aren't I? Sylvan Kesh? Alright. We're already starting this off great. I gotta search something up immediately. Laura Tobin. I mean, I gotta know the information for this just to make it as accurate as possible, you know? Okay, not the British news article person. I'm talking about the Type 102 TARDIS. There we go. 102 form time ship. Maybe I should add that. Type 102 form time ship. Type 102 TARDIS time ship. This should be very interesting. I'm super excited to see what this turns out to be. Let's see. Does the TARDIS wiki say anything about this? Laura Tobin. I'm on the wrong one. There's like multiple wikis for Doctor Who, so just give me another second here. I just want to make sure the lore is accurate as possible. Let's see. Sister's name is Alison Tobin, also known as Civitada. I should know that. That was the name of my city in my friend's TARDIS or Doctor Who Minecraft server. So it's Sylvinkesh. Fine. I was close enough. Didn't need a vowel there. Include Mary Culver. Let's say Civitada. Mary Culver, and Sylvan Cash. That should completely confuse the AI because there's so many proper nouns here. You're hurtling through space-time, time-space, and the one who used to go by many names, as such includes Civitada, Mary Culver, and Sylvan Cash, is at the TARDIS control console, while also being the time ship that you occupy. We should probably add in some, like, I don't know, enemy forces or something. Let's just leave us in the Time Vortex, yeah. How about that? You are in the Time Vortex. There, it's both canonical in terms of the AI here, and also in terms of the stream. Edge of the forest searching for a dragon. You register a blip on your on the Type 102 time ships. Let's say space-time navigator or something. Anything else I really want to add here? See, the thing about Laura Tobin, or the Type 102 in particular, it's incapable of time travel, like later on in the story, so this would have to be somewhere in between Civitada and Type 102. I don't know, man. This is just gonna have to be a toss-up. Yeah, let's just go with this. I think this should be nice. Should confuse the ever-loving crap out of the AI as well. Okay. So, you are the Doctor. You are on board a Type 102 TARDIS time ship, a living TARDIS formerly known as Laura Tobin. You are hurtling through space-time, time-space, and the one who used to go by many names, as such includes Civitada, Mary Culver, and Sylvan Cash, is at the TARDIS control console, while also being the time ship that you occupy. This is already so brain-bending. You are in the Time Vortex. You register a blip on the Type 102 time ship's space-time navigator. Hello, you say. Who are you? What do you want? The reply comes back from the console. I am the Doctor. Well, naturally, since I am the Doctor, and that person is the Doctor, then no, I am the Doctor. Hopefully this doesn't go into like an infinite loop of no, you're a bot, no, you're a bot. I think this should be, like, this is definitely what the Doctor would say, right? Anytime he's encountered himself in like a temporal paradox, he always says, I am the genuine article. At least that's what the first Doctor would say. And I would like to think that, I don't know, the cheekiness continues throughout each iteration of the Doctor, so this should be fine. The reply comes back from the console. I am the Doctor. No, I am the Doctor. I am the genuine article. I am not some imposter. Imposter? No, you're not an imposter. You are the real deal. We've met before. Yes, we have. Okay, well, I mean, operating off of the Doctor's logic, then, I think after maybe the second or third Doctor, they kind of get used to their temporal paradoxes and running into themselves. So, I mean, naturally, I think if I were the Doctor, I would say this. I see. Another temporal paradox involving either my past and or future self. I guess it could be present self too. Perhaps my present self. Let's see what the AI has to say about this. I see another temporal paradox involving either my past and or future self, perhaps my present self as well. Well, the good thing is, both of you are my past and future selves. So as far as I'm concerned, the Doctor, you can have the girl and the TARDIS. What? So we're on board a Type 102 time ship hurtling through the time vortex, and we encounter a simultaneous anachronism of all three potential versions of ourselves. Past, present, and current. Or past, present, and future. So I'm telling myself that I can have the Type 102 time ship. And if I'm the Doctor, then I would know I already have my own time and relative dimensions in space. I think by the end of the current season, I think the Doctor's current TARDIS is a Mark III, so I'm going to say a Type 40, Typer 40, a Type 40 Mark III, to be precise. Why would I nab away with a more advanced time ship and one that has free will, of course? This is already turning to be very interesting so far. I already have my own time and relative dimensions in space. A Type 40 Mark III, to be precise. Why would I nab away with a more advanced time ship? And one that has free will, too, at that. I find myself in an advantage here. You keep her, then. Have a good day. I guess my concurrent selves do not care. And I think before the events of the radio stories and like basically the end of the City of the Saved, I think the Type 102 goes by the name Civitada. So I'm going to say, what say you, Civitada? What do you think of this? This should be some interesting dialogue, because I haven't read these books, and I have yet to get to this part of the story, basically the Time War. So this could be like part canon that the AI is going to pull out here, and it could just be, you know, part interesting text. The AI doesn't know what to say. Looks like I'm speaking to the actual Civitada here. Guess my concurrent selves do not care. What say you, Civitada? What do you think of this? So I would assume if I am with Civitada, then I have access to the Time Vortex, right? Because the City of the Saved is like gated off to any entry, basically, once the Temporal War starts happening. Or like the Temporal Wars, I guess I should say. Okay, let's say, I quickly check the scanner. Wait, what was it that I actually had registered? It was the, Space-Time Navigator. On the Type 102 TARDIS console. I'll add in unit just to make it that more precise. Having a few typos here just because I'm using my mini mouse slash keyboard combo. So, I mean, it kind of acts like a controller for me, but also, you know, I just didn't want the clickety-clacks of an actual keyboard. I quickly checked the space-time navigator on the Type 102 TARDIS console unit. With a minimum of gestures, I see that the ship has navigated through the vortex to Arturna Major, a region of space far from the galactic core. I turn to... Let's see, if this is indeed Civitada, then she would be more of like a... I guess figure in the TARDIS? So I turn to the figure of the representation of Civitada. One second here, I just want to bring chat back up. Okay, there we go. Why have we stopped? I ask the sentient Type 102 TARDIS. And you gotta remember, if you know the lore of the Type 102 at least, there is a console unit. It's not just a living being that can time travel at will. The Type 102 TARDIS does indeed have a main console, so I should be able to talk to the avatar of Civitada. In fact, I should add that. Turn to the figure of the avatar representation of Civitada. Why have we stopped? Okay, the AI doesn't know what to do. I toggle the TARDIS door switch. And check the exterior readout monitor. Should probably be capitalizing these, I don't know. What would you call this? Proper nouns? I toggle the TARDIS door switch and check the exterior readout monitor. I love how this is just borking the AI already. I toggle the TARDIS door switch and check the exterior readout monitor. The Type 102's TARDIS stands facing the Doctor's one-man TARDIS. Oh. So, I guess my Type 40 is within the Type 102. And we are out of fuel. There was more than enough for one more jump, the Doctor says. Okay, so my adequate knowledge of TARDISes, from at least playing the Minecraft mods of TARDIS, depending on the version of the TARDIS, or at least the TARDIS console itself, it should have its own Artron generator, and presumably a Type 102 is so advanced it doesn't need fuel, so I probably just need to toggle the Artron bank generator. Somehow, my Type 40 is intact in this Type 102. This is so exciting, I love this. This Type 102 TARDIS interior dimension without temporal paradox, seemingly. Who knows, this could be a time ram. I verify that the exterior of my... I mean, I'm just going to add this for flair because it's my favorite version of the TARDIS. The exterior of my Hellbent TARDIS. Should probably say Hellbent chameleon circuit style. Is physically present and then return to the Type 102's console and toggle the Artron Bank generator switch. So in Minecraft 1.12.2, you automatically always reobtain Artron banks from just hitting the switch. In later versions of the TARDIS plugin, you have to physically use fuel. So hopefully this doesn't require fuel. And did I say this was advanced? Without temporal paradox? Who knows, this could be a time ran. Hopefully... Civitata's let's just say console is advanced enough to obtain Artron from just being materialized. Otherwise, I will have to obtain sufficient fuel. Perfect. So this shouldn't be too confusing for the AI, hopefully. There was enough for one more jump, the doctor says. Somehow my Type 40 is intact in this Type 102 TARDIS interior dimension without temporal paradox, seemingly. Who knows, this could be a time ram. I verify that the exterior of my Hellbent chameleon circuit style TARDIS is physically present, and then return to the Type 102's console and toggle the Artron bank generator switch. Hopefully Civitata's console is advanced enough to obtain Artron from just being materialized. Otherwise, I will have to obtain sufficient fuel. Meanwhile, the doctor moves around the console unit and stands behind you. Wait, I'm not the only doctor in here? You feel his breath in your ear. Don't even think about trying anything, he says with a cheeky grin. While we wait, which doctor are you? Are you from my future? Perhaps my past? I know the Time Lords probably shouldn't specify how many are remaining because this could be in the middle of the Time War, and referring to how many Time Lords exist would probably cause a paradox in and of itself. Perhaps my past. I know the Time Lords are quite fond of removing and altering memories. Hopefully, I'm just not dying now, because this would make perfect sense. Encountering my concurrent self as we both Simultaneously die and regenerate. Yeah, die and regenerate, just so the AI doesn't kill me. I say, as I intently look into the doctor's eyes, and then back at the, just gonna say Artron data bank. That should be sufficient. Let's see what we get from this. While we wait, which doctor are you? Are you from my future? Perhaps my past. I know the Time Lords are quite fond of removing and altering memories. Hopefully I'm just not dying now, because this would make perfect sense, encountering my concurrent self as we both simultaneously die and regenerate, I say, as I intently look into the doctor's eyes and then back at the Artron databank. The last few Artron banks worth are gone, and the TARDIS, which had stopped it all, starts to materialize as the fuel-efficient generator kicks in. Okay, so this is an advanced TARDIS. It's just that we used up the last of our Artron bank storage, and it's going to go ahead and regenerate the rest of what we need to hop on out of here. So, where did we end up again? Arterna Major. Arterna Major. Now, what do I remember about this place? I've already opened up the door, but because, I mean, both the Type 40 and the Type 102 would have this, because it's such an advanced TARDIS, I don't really have to worry about, like, oxygen escaping or anything. So I'm just gonna check the environment sensors. Making certain that the force field, keeping all the oxygen inside, is working as well. The environment sensors. Did I say sensor or sensors? Sensors outputs information for the Type 102 TARDIS occupants. The environment sensor. I checked the environment sensors, making certain that the force field is keeping all the oxygen inside. Oh, okay, never mind. I had that. Is working as well. After verifying our relative safety due to this certainly advanced TARDIS. Environment sensors output information for the Type 102 TARDIS occupants. Let's see what we get here. Arterna Major. Now, what do I remember about this place? I checked the environment sensors, making certain that the force field keeping all the oxygen inside is working as well. After verifying our relative safety due to this certainly advanced TARDIS, the environment sensors output information for the Type 102 TARDIS occupants. The era of a massive spacefaring civilization. The war in the heavens occurred here. Oh my god, okay. So we are in the middle of the Time War or after it. Wow, okay. The aftermath of this war resulted in the Great Cataclysm, which destroyed most life of the planet. I grab my coat and accoutrements and beckon both the other doctor and the avatar of Civitada to follow outside the TARDIS exterior. Let's go ahead and capitalize exterior to investigate with our own eyes. This is exciting. I had no idea it was actually going to pull real lore. The war in heaven. Oh my goodness. I grab my coat and accoutrements and beckon both the other doctor and the avatar of Civitada to follow outside the TARDIS exterior to investigate with our own eyes. The TARDIS doors close as I quickly walk outside, now in a place so alien and futuristic that it makes the reset Bombay galaxy seem like New York City in time of the dinosaurs. Okay, well that's unexpected. I snap. Okay, fam? Snap back. I'm not gonna snap back. I snap backward in a... This keyboard isn't responding very well. In a bolting fashion. I mean, this could just be the doors closing because it's an AI-controlled TARDIS? Or, you know, a sentient TARDIS? Verifying. Hello? Weather? Or not? Man. Whether or not my companions followed me outside into... Man, you gotta stop doing this stupid ass remote control. Into the world. The door is closed. Whether by Dude, come on. This is so stupid and it happens all the time. This freaking remote control thingy-majig is literally right next to the adapter for it, and yet it disconnects like every other letter. Door is locked. Whether of Civitada's choice, the other doctor, or due to some strange plot or coincidence. Should probably move this back actually, because I want to verify. Snap backward in a bolting fashion. I'd probably just say noticing that the door is closed. That the TARDIS exterior door I confusedly look around. Verifying whether or not my companions followed me outside into the world. Hopefully I typed all that correctly, because my keyboard just kept disconnecting and reconnecting. I snapped backward in a bolting fashion, noticing that the TARDIS exterior door is closed. whether of Civitata's choice, the other doctors, or due to some strange plot or coincidence. I confusedly look around, verifying whether or not my companions followed me outside into the world. I notice the doctor. He looks confused, angry, and agitated. He walks across the barren planet's surface, his fists clenching. He stops, about 15 meters away from me. Okay, this is perfect, because the Type 102 is still here, and this is gonna, like, either really confuse the AI or should add some interesting story. Activate my Stattenheim remote. And wait for my Type 40 Mark III TARDIS. Bro, come on. Come on, you don't need to mess around this much, keyboard. Dude. I'm gonna have to switch to my actual keyboard. This is so frustrating. Materialize next to myself and the other doctor. What's wrong? I ask the peculiar. I feel like I'm putting in more effort than the AIs at this point, but whatever. Doppelganger of myself. Myself. There we go. Oh my god. I notice the doctor. He looks confused, angry, and agitated. He walks across the barren planet's surface, his fists clenching. He stops about 15 meters away from me. I activate my Stattenheim remote and wait for my Type 40 Mark III TARDIS to materialize next to myself and the other doctor. What's wrong? I ask the peculiar doppelganger of myself. Sorry it has to end like this, he says with a wry smile and a sigh. So what would the doctor have at his disposal? If I'm the war doctor in this scenario, I would think the war doctor would be smart enough to maybe steal the master's laser screwdriver. And the way the other doctor is talking here, it sounds like he aims to kill me. So, assuming a Mark III can materialize fast enough, yeah, I'm gonna dive through the air. I dive through the air. I think the doctor obtained a laser screwdriver from the master anyway and held on to it at one point. So I would assume I would have a self-defense weapon. I dive through the air into clambering through and behind my rapidly, bro, come on, materializing TARDIS. Dive through the air, clambering through and behind my rapidly materializing TARDIS, right as the other doctor finishes his sentence. Finishes their sentence, actually. Hopefully, I made it in time to... Hopefully I made it in time to set up a physical barrier between myself and this potential new enemy. I ready my stolen laser screwdriver. I ready my laser screwdriver. I had stolen from the master many years ago. From the master in one of our encounters many years ago. Perfect. This should add some very interesting story. Okay, this is perfect. My my TARDIS physically materializes at my back just as I dial the laser screwdriver. Should probably capitalize that just so it's a proper noun. Just as I dial the laser screwdriver into I don't know, self-defense mode, I guess. Using my spare sonic screwdriver. Obviously, a doctor with many pockets in his coat would carry multiple screwdrivers. I shout at the other doctor. From behind my TARDIS. As I push my feet and body up out of a crag and sand dune. What do you mean? What has to end? Okay, the AI still can't keep up. I amble through the silence. And peek my head slightly toward where the other doctor was located. You know as well as I do. Alright, this should probably be in a speech segment. My coat just fell down off of my door, by the way. I know. You know as well as I do that for either one of us to kill the other would mean total annihilation of both of us. Do you want to instigate a temporal paradox? Should probably capitalize that. I shout as I ready the laser screwdriver around the corner of my TARDIS exterior. Okay. Alright, let's catch up with this. Sorry it has to end like this, he says with a wry smile and a sigh. I dive through the air, clambering through and behind my rapidly materializing TARDIS, right as the other doctor finishes their sentence. Hopefully I made it in time to set up a physical barrier between myself and this potential new enemy. I ready my laser screwdriver I had stolen from the Master in one of our encounters many years ago. My TARDIS physically materializes at my back, just as I dial the laser screwdriver into self-defense mode using my spare sonic screwdriver. I shout at the other doctor from behind my TARDIS as I push my feet and body up out of a crag and a sand dune. What do you mean? What has to end? I amble through the silence and peek my head slightly toward where the other doctor was located. You know as well as I do that for either one of us to kill the other would mean total annihilation of both of us. Do you want to instigate a temporal paradox? I shout as I ready the laser screwdriver around the corner of my TARDIS exterior. I hear a chuckle, a warm chuckle. It sounds familiar. Oh no, my boy, there's no need for either of us to die, the other doctor says. Okay, I lower my guard. Surely, if this other is myself, then we meet on amicable terms. I sit still for a moment and look over to the Type 102 TARDIS. See what the other doctor has to say. I lower my guard. Surely if this other is myself, then we meet on amicable terms. I sit still for a moment and look over to the Type 102 TARDIS. I notice one of the door's vision cameras flashing on and off. The door that leads inside. The door that leads inside myself. The other doctor stands up and begins approaching my TARDIS. Huh. So, am I Civitada? I don't know what the AI is saying here. Wait a second. One of the door's vision cameras. One of the door's vision cameras. So the Type 102 is watching us. Both versions of myself. Am I perhaps part of this Civitada was once a man as well, so am I perhaps part of this advanced 100 form TARDIS as well? No time to think. I should still be on my guard. Quickly, I angle the laser screwdriver at both of my own hearts. And approach the other doctor. I feel like I should speak for the other doctor here, but I think a Time Lord as advanced as the doctor would know that suicide would be a temporal paradox as well. So I think the AI can probably handle this. The other doctor stands up and begins approaching my TARDIS. The Type 102 is watching us, both versions of myself. Am I perhaps part of this advanced 100 form TARDIS as well? No time to think. I should still be on my guard. Quickly, I angle the laser screwdriver at both of my own hearts and approach the other doctor. I let fear dictate my actions and aim my laser screwdriver for the other doctor's head. I fire and the doctor falls to the ground. This is beginning to be just like the... just like this one book I read. Dance with the Other, exactly. Exactly. I quickly drop the laser screwdriver. And rushedly, that's not a word apparently, and rush over to, hello, controller? Bro. I'm like trying to write a story here, fam. Oh my god. This thing will not comply sometimes, so I really gotta bully it for it to work. Okay, here's some more vaporwave for you. Yes, the meeting with the other. I've already read a time travel book like this, so I know how to resolve this. Quickly drop the laser screwdriver and rush over to my other self. One second, I want to pull up chat again here, because it's kind of hard to keep vaporwave going and pull up chat and pull up AI Dungeon. Quickly drop the laser screwdriver and rush over to my other self. Verify that he is still breathing, but very shallowly. I should say they. I don't know their gender. They is still breathing. They are still breathing, but very shallowly. Oh my god. I use my sonic screwdriver, life sensor function to ascertain that they are still alive and will survive, but are badly damaged. How could I do something so stupid? I must be the war doctor then, in this scenario. I mutter to myself. I don't think that needs a comma at the end. Hello? Didn't I just delete that? Dude, this keyboard remote is just ridiculous. Oh, you know what? You're saying dance with the other? I thought you meant like the dance of death with the other. I didn't... it didn't click in my brain that you're saying just dance with yourself. I muttered to myself. And then what else do I want to say here? You're going to be okay. That's gonna be a nasty scar though. And I think just for safety, I'll go ahead and say I confer some but not all of my regeneration energy. Hashtag regeneration energy. Sponsored by Regeneration Energy. To the other version of myself. Come on, dude. This thing is so finicky. I just don't want like a bunch of in the background, you know? This thing works fine otherwise. Confer some but not of all of my regeneration energy to the other version of myself. They seem to be making a speedy recovery. Oh my god. I don't even know what's happening here. It just auto-deletes anything I want to type here. Oh, this keyboard. Alright, let's see what the AI has to say about this. I quickly drop the laser screwdriver and rush over to my other self. I verify that they are still breathing, but very shallowly. I use my sonic screwdriver's life sensor function to ascertain that they are still alive and will survive, but are badly damaged. How could I do something so stupid, I mutter to myself. You're going to be okay, that's going to be a nasty scar though. I confer some but not all of my regeneration energy to the other version of myself. They seem to be making a speedy recovery. I sit back and watch my other self struggle to their feet. Are you okay? I ask, to which the doctor nods and replies, yeah, I think so, a bit dizzy though. What is this all about? This should allow the AI to like actually fill in some blanks. What is this all about? I ask in strained and worried anticipation. The AI doesn't know what to say. I prop the other doctor up against my TARDIS exterior door and rush back to the Type 102 exterior. Civitada, we need help. Accidentally hurt myself. Well, my other self. Can you please assist us? This is going nowhere so fast. Like, we landed on a Time War planet in a extremely advanced time ship, arguably the most advanced time ship in the entire lore, in the entire canon of Doctor Who, and I show up with my own self and blast myself in the face. Before that, I was like suggesting my own suicide just to protect myself. I'm relieved when the other doctor nods in response. Certainly, what happened? Well, the sand blew in my eyes and I couldn't see. Then I accidentally shot my other self in the head. That's what it was? I wasn't acting... I guess it was out of fear, but... I had some sand fly in my face and that's what caused me to nearly blow off my own head. Okay, let's add some exposition here. The avatar of the Type 102 form time ship exits onto the sandy terrain and see, what would Civitada do in this scenario? Offers the other doctor some medicine. What were you two thinking? I feel like the AI is just so confused. Like, it thinks I'm Civitada as well, so it's just 3 of us that are the same person. What were you two thinking? Civitada, dejectedly asks. We could be in immense danger here. Quit fooling around. I feel like she's kind of a savage in her canon, so I feel like this is on par for what Civitada would say. Yeah, I mean, 100%. She's a Time Lord herself as well, so I feel like she would just be like, okay, you're shooting yourself, you freaking dumbass. Alright, dude. Like, if you want to goof around, but we could die out here. The avatar of the Type 102 form time ship exits onto the sandy terrain and offers the other doctor some medicine. What were you two thinking? Civitada dejectedly asks. We could be in immense danger here. Quit fooling around. Taking the medicine, the other doctor pops it into their mouth and swallows. Then they slowly begin to heal. The TARDIS exterior opens, and with them enters my other self? Wait, what? What? How many doctors are there? Okay, I guess this is like the Timeless Child canon. So there could be more than 12 incarnations of the Doctor. The TARDIS exterior opens and with them enters my other self. So I'm so confused by this. I'm just gonna say I enter the TARDIS interior, curiously looking around. I really don't know which time ship this is. There's at least 2 TARDISes here minimum. I enter the TARDIS interior, curiously looking around. Over to the left I see a ground ray door with a large blue question mark on it. Nearby is a staircase leading up and a small cupboard. So I'm assuming this means my TARDIS, maybe? Which TARDIS is this? I curiously think to myself. This should throw the AI for a loop. I don't know if the AI knows enough about TARDISes. Which TARDIS is this? I curiously think to myself. I head on over to the blue door. Who knows what could be behind it? Press down on the door with my hand and it swings open. The door opens into another TARDIS interior. It appears that by removing my own TARDIS, okay, from the Type 102 TARDIS's interior, I unwittingly brought yet another incarnation of myself to this barren planet from the time of the... Was this the War in Heaven? Let's see here. The War in the Heavens. From the time of the War in Heaven. I dance with the newly encountered other third incarnation of the Doctor. Well, isn't this splendid? Splendid. This surely must be a temporal paradox. I worriedly and yet amusedly say to myself, oh, come on. Spelling errors abound. Amusingly? How about amusingly? There we go. What do you say about this, AI? Oh my god, okay. Which TARDIS is this, I curiously think to myself. I head on over to the blue door. Who knows what could be behind it? I press down on the door with my hand and it swings open. The door opens into another TARDIS interior. It appears that by removing my own TARDIS from the Type 102 TARDIS interior, I unwittingly brought yet another incarnation of myself to this barren planet from the time of the war in heaven. I dance with the newly encountered other third incarnation of the Doctor. Well, isn't this splendid? This surely must be a temporal paradox. I worriedly and yet amusingly say to myself. Then I hear a groaning noise and look over to the cupboard to find an old, withered old man with a partial cowl. Underneath is a faint glint of silver. Okay, I'm just running into every incarnation of the Doctor. It's the genuine article. This is a time paradox, if ever I've heard of one. The first Doctor, let's capitalize that. First Doctor is clutching a TARDIS key made of pure Validium. Hey, me, are you alright? I say, ignoring the other doctors. I am your future self. Hopefully saying the genuine article makes the first Doctor feel comfy here. It's the genuine article. The first Doctor is clutching a TARDIS key, made of pure Validium. Hey me, are you alright? I say, ignoring the other doctors. I am your future self, I say, gently taking the key from the first Doctor's withered claws. There's no time. I run out of both TARDISes and back to the Avatar of Civitada. We are most certainly in a temporal paradox. I scream. I don't want to scream at Civitada, but I scream worriedly, I guess. So, now that I have the first Doctor's TARDIS key, I guess I would want to leave my initial TARDIS key, and probably my old TARDIS as well, and just let them handle the previous generation TARDISes, and then probably go with Civitada, because this is surely a very scary scenario, even for the Doctor. There's no time. I run out of both TARDISes and back to the Avatar of Civitada. We are most certainly in a temporal paradox, I scream worriedly. The first Doctor is my past, and the third Doctor is my future. Wait, I'm the second Doctor? I dash to the other TARDIS, the one with the 3D glasses. I run to the gray door. What? 3D glasses? I drop my own TARDIS key. This is starting to be the Three Doctors. I drop my own TARDIS key for the other doctors to work out how to escape this wretched planet with. And let's see, what would I want to do in this scenario? And quickly toggle. I'm guessing 3D glasses means my own TARDIS. My own TARDIS to see. I wouldn't want to cause them to be marooned here, so toggle my own TARDIS to remain open for the other doctors. I then quickly and hurriedly run into the Type 102 TARDIS interior. Quickly and hurriedly run into the Type 102 TARDIS interior while shouting, "Quickly, you fools." Into the Hellbent Mark III Type 40. All doctors should know what this is. This is the first Doctor's TARDIS before the chameleon circuit got stuck on the police box design. So they should know what this is. Quickly, you fools, into the Hellbent Mark III Type 40 TARDIS. I will pull you all back into this TARDIS. Okay, hopefully this doesn't confuse the hell out of the AI. I drop my own TARDIS key for the other doctors to work out how to escape this wretched planet with, and quickly toggle my own TARDIS to remain open for the other doctors. I then quickly and hurriedly run into the Type 102 TARDIS interior while shouting, "Quickly, you fools, into the Hellbent Mark III Type 40 TARDIS. I will pull you all back into this TARDIS." The other doctors quickly and hastily enter the TARDIS, and I close the door. Using the last of the Artron databank stored in my Statenheim remote, I summon my own TARDIS containing the first Doctor's TARDIS into Civitada's interior. The avatar of Civitada materializes within the interior dimension and I stare directly at, I don't know, their unbending gaze. What have I done? Surely we can fix this, I say, as I look back down to the Stantonheim remote, registering successful dematerialization and rematerialization. I'll just say progress. Dematerialization and rematerialization process of my and the first Doctor's time ships en route for Civitada's interior. Holy moly, okay. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Okay, I have returned. So far, it seems like the Doctor's adventures is very exciting. It seems like my understanding of the lore is really playing off of this as well. Yeah, dance with the other Doctor, of course. Glad I got to do that, and it wasn't a dance of death. It was a dance of moving our bodies. Okay. Perhaps it still could be a dance of death, although I really hope not. Alright, let's hop right back into it. Just give me another second here. I just really want to quickly queue up some more Vaporwave for us to listen to. In case you're curious, this is all royalty-free Vaporwave music as well. Just so I don't get copywritten. But yeah, alright. Pull up Stream Chat, and here we go. Back to AI Dungeon. Hello? There we go. Oh my god, come on. It's like if it's one thing, it's another thing. Jeez. This keyboard/mouse combo just doesn't like to cooperate. The other doctors quickly and hastily enter the TARDIS, and I close the door. Using the last of the Artron databank stored in my Stattenheim remote, I summon my own TARDIS containing the first Doctor's TARDIS into Civitata's interior. The avatar of Civitata materializes within the interior dimension, and I stare directly at their unbending gaze. What have I done? Surely we can fix this, I say, as I look back down to the Stattenheim remote, registering successful dematerialization and rematerialization process of my and the first Doctor's time ships en route for Civitata's interior. That was the close one, the first Doctor says, turning to the second and third Doctor. That was a close one. We're lucky he came back. Second and third Doctor nod in agreement. So I'm not even the second Doctor. There's 3 Doctors here that are the first initial few, so I must be the 4th Doctor or onward. Okay, I guess I'll give the AI a break here. And 2 TARDISes. Should say the 2 Type 40 TARDISes. Rematerialize. Inside of the Type 102 TARDIS interior dimension. Successfully. I breathe a sigh of relief. And then the Doctors step out of their respective TARDIS interior into Civitata TARDIS interior. Boy, if this isn't a time paradox, I don't know what is. Oh my god. So many concurrent versions of myself. The 2 Type 40 TARDISes rematerialized inside of the Type 102 TARDIS interior dimensions successfully. I breathe a sigh of relief. The Doctors step out of their respective TARDIS interior into the Civitata's TARDIS interior. Now what? The second Doctor worries. Third Doctor turns to the first and me. We need to get out of here. Regardless of our collective presence here, this planet was part of a temporal war, and therefore could be subject to I add some context here. Could be subject to, as we Doctors like to say, wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Sort of effects. I say, mostly explaining. Oh my god, come on. Mostly explaining to the first Doctor in particular but also spurring the minds of the other Doctors. Come on. Sounds like some Mass Effect music. I mean, this would be really fitting for a time travel scenario. Quickly turnabout. And investigate the Artron databanks once again. The weird thing is, this could actually be like a scenario that happens in Doctor Who. There are so many scenarios where the Doctor meets themselves. So, a time paradox where they all work together in a more advanced TARDIS could totally happen. We need to get out of here, regardless of our collective presence here. I forgot to quote it properly. I'm sure the AI knows what I'm doing. We need to get out of here, regardless of our collective presence here. Hold on, let me actually see. Edit? Okay, never mind. We need to get out of here, regardless of our collective presence here. This planet was part of a temporal war, and therefore we could be subject to, as we doctors like to say, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey sort of effects. I say, mostly explaining to the first Doctor in particular, but also spurring the minds of the other Doctor. I quickly turn about and investigate the Artron databanks once again. After a few minutes I find a file which details the complete destruction of the planet through temporal effects. It is dated over 5 centuries into the future. In other words, it's gone. The Artron databank registers full enough charge for, I guess I want to say time flight, but let me just like be as verbose as possible here. Space-time, time-space flight. Okay, and then how do I do this again? I summon the other Doctors. This should work out excellently. We can all operate the TARDIS console together to the Type 102 TARDIS console. And then let's see, it's probably want to hit the randomizer. So how does this work again? I think we need coordinate randomizer. I tell them to operate their respective panels. Is it new song time? Not quite. Okay, just making sure it got quiet for a second there. The first Doctor, I'm gonna go down the order of operations here, seems to marvel at how advanced the Type 102 console is. So I direct him to the time rotor handbrake. Second Doctor seems to be puzzling. So I ask him to operate the coordinate randomizer. Didn't get to finish that, but that's okay. The Artron databank registers full enough charge for space-time time-space flight. I summon the other Doctors to the Type 102 TARDIS console. I tell them to operate their respective panels. The First doctor seems to marvel at how advanced the Type 102 console is, so I direct him to the time rotor handbrake. I basically just did this because I figured he'd be too overwhelmed with how old he is and how set in his ways he always is. He probably just wants to do the simplest thing. And I figure the second doctor knows quite a bit about coordinate travel, so the randomizer should fit well for him. Second doctor seems to be puzzling, so I ask him to operate the coordinate randomizer. The third doctor looks at the time rotor handbrake, then smiles and points to the handheld time diver. Okay? That's the one I've been waiting for, he says. Let's do it. Ask the second doctor to activate the coordinate randomizer. Then switch the let's see, what is it? There's like a certain order of operations in every single Doctor Who mod I've played. Whether it's Doctor Who Vegas or it's the Minecraft mod. It is fairly simplistic, though. I think just 4 doctors should be able to operate it. And then switch the... see, it's coordinate randomizer. Then what else? I'm gonna have to look up, like, the freaking Fallout Who Vegas TARDIS operations manual real quick. I just feel like this is the most accurate, reliable version. Just give me one moment here. This music is very eerie for some reason. I don't know why. Just makes me think we're in like a very trying scenario right now. I can't believe I shot myself with the Master's laser screwdriver. Okay. So zigzag plotter is the coordinate randomizer. I then switch the helmet regulator. And ask the third doctor to toggle the space-time throttle. Should probably just follow what the Doctor Who Vegas wiki says about this. Toggle the space-time throttle at any speed they find necessary for a scenario like this. Then shift around the console. Should probably specify TARDIS console, I don't know why, but it seems relevant here. Then shift around the TARDIS console. And activate the locking down mechanism. Alright, Doctor. Pull the time rotor handbrake. I say to the first doctor, okay, that should be good. only real difference between this and the Who Vegas mod is the coordinate randomizer. I asked the second doctor to activate the coordinate randomizer. I then switched the helmet regulator and asked the third doctor to toggle the space-time throttle at any speed they find necessary for a scenario like this. I then shift around the TARDIS console and activate the locking down mechanism. Alright, Doctor, pull the time rotor handbrake, I say to the first doctor. The first doctor nods. Let's all grab a hold of something, the second doctor says. We all move to the flight console. The TARDIS brakes, whine and groan in their typical fashion, and the Type 102 TARDIS takes off into the Time Vortex. Nice. That actually went very smoothly. Nobody really messed around with the console controls or anything. So this seems to be good. TARDIS brakes whine and groan in their typical fashion, and the Type 102 TARDIS takes off into the Time Vortex. The visual of the TARDIS destination appears, as well as the time rotor hand throttle. What? Hand throttle? Time diver and the four of you all sitting in the pilot's seat with the TARDIS in flight within. So, I guess what... I don't know what the AI is exactly trying to say, but I think it's trying to say that after the Statenheim remote materialized, the original TARDISes, like the Doctor's TARDISes, not the Type 102, once those were materialized inside the Type 102, and then we took time flight, or I guess space-time time flight, space-time time-space time flight, then I guess it's trying to describe that the other TARDISes are traveling with us. So good, we're like a temporal anomaly that's working out just fine. We're all sitting in the pilot seat though, all four of us scrunched together in one little seat. Move over. I think this is a great part for humor. I say to the other three doctors. In the same seat as I? Man, this keyboard has got to screw off, man. Wait, what did it call it? The pilot seat? In the same pilot seat as I am? Seated in the same pilot seat. I should specify I'm joking. I jokingly say. Move over, I jokingly say to the other three doctors seated in the same pilot seat as I am. The second, third, and fourth doctor oblige and make room for me. Ready, you ask, grasping the controls tightly. Ready, the second and third doctor respond. I flip the time rotor handbrake back into the default locked position as we land at our next destination. I want to quote locked just so it doesn't think like I accidentally locked the time rotor handbrake or something. It is indeed in the correct position. Check the environmental sensors. will you? I ask politely to any of the doctors. And be sure to enable the exterior monitor. The first doctor aptly says. I feel like this is just something he would always have down. I'm doing a lot more work than the AI is here, that's for sure. Okay. Flip the time rotor handbrake back into the default locked position as we land at our next destination. Check the environmental sensors, will you? I ask politely to any of the doctors. And be sure to enable the exterior monitor, the first doctor aptly says. The second and third doctor simply acknowledge your words with a nod. The fourth doctor is busily taking notes of the surrounding landscape as per his usual manner. It's beautiful. Wait, so now the fourth doctor is here? That's a literal knee slapper. I leap out of my seat, out of my, what was it, the pilot seat? Out of my pilot seat. I like how the AI is referring to all of the doctors as myself now. It's really catching on. Leap out of my pilot seat and stare at the spitting image of the fourth doctor. This is a temporal paradox, if I've ever seen one. Okay, and then I excitedly mutter, I guess. No, I don't want to mutter it. I excitedly proclaim. And then look towards the, what did I call it? The exterior monitor? Okay. Exterior monitor. Check for life signs as well. I think the third doctor would say this. I was going to say the fourth doctor, but he's marveling at whatever. So he's probably examining the TARDIS interior or something. The third doctor says. As the fourth doctor is marveling. I don't really know much about the second doctor. He's the only doctor I haven't really watched much about. So I might need to include him at some point as the fourth. Let's say that. The third doctor and the second doctor interact quite a bit in the three doctors, so the third doctor says to the second doctor. I don't think we really need to emphasize the psychic link here or anything. It's already happened in a previous episode, and I would think since the fourth doctor is here, then we would already have the psychic connection to allow us to all work in tandem. So this is just subverting any temporal paradox. Yeah, I really wouldn't need to add any sort of telepathy or anything. Telepathic communication would just be inessential here, I guess. I don't know, I'll probably clarify something about it in a second if I need to. Check for life signs as well. The third doctor says the second doctor, as the fourth doctor is marveling at the Type 102 TARDIS interior. Let me go ahead and just time and relative Dimensions in space. Interior. Type 102 time ships. Wait, Type 102 time and relative dimension in space. Time ships interior. There we go. That should be fine. I leap out of my pilot seat and stare at the spitting image of the Fourth Doctor. This is a temporal paradox, if I've ever seen one, I excitedly proclaim. I then look towards the exterior monitor. Check for life signs as well, the Third Doctor says to the Second Doctor, as the Fourth Doctor is marveling at the Type 102 time and relative dimensions in space time ship's interior. Second Doctor nods and walks towards the exterior sensor, which stares outside to the surrounding area. Give me just 1 second here. I wanted to queue up another song. And if my mouse will cooperate here, instead of flying all over the place, like we're doing in space-time, time-space, time vortex. Second Doctor nods and walks towards the exterior sensor, which stares outside to the surrounding area. Time and relative dimensions in space scroll by, showing a seemingly endless amount of space and time. Okay. It seems we have rematerialized inside of the time vortex itself. What would we check here? Check the... Let's just go ahead and capitalize rematerialize so the AI knows what I'm talking about here. Check the force field. Is holding. So we can investigate the real physical space-time outside. I quizzically say, this should at least preserve us, so if someone wants to step out... Misspelled here. Okay, it seems we have rematerialized inside of the time vortex itself. Check the force field is holding so we can investigate the real physical space-time outside. I quizzically say. Second Doctor quickly nods and enables the force field. Whilst he checks the TARDIS system, I walk over to the Third Doctor. How are things out there? So in this scenario, I am a future Doctor. And I'm assuming... I don't know which Doctor I actually shot now. I'm very confused. Maybe I shot the Third Doctor here? How are things out there? I don't know what I would do here. As I await... Yeah, the force field is enabled. As I await the Third Doctor's reply... I open the TARDIS doors. And visually investigate the exterior from the point between the... Let me just correct the frickin' AI here. Between the TARDIS interior and the exterior force field. I think that should be fine. was going to say the force field that's keeping us safe, but it really doesn't matter. Second Doctor quickly nods and enables the force field. Whilst he checks the TARDIS system, I walk over to the Third Doctor. How are things out there? As I await the Third Doctor's reply, I open the TARDIS doors and visually investigate the exterior from the point between the TARDIS interior and the exterior force field. There appears to be a black void with a swirling black mass, seemingly made of the same stuff. I can see us, I hear the Doctor slowly say over the intercom, clearly nervous. Interesting. So it seems we materialize within the time vortex, which is mirroring the Type 102's interior, maybe? Maybe we have created a temporal paradox where the Type 102 is the time vortex. I rush back into the Type 102 and close the doors. I really don't know what to do here, so I'm just going to let the AI choose. Rush back into the Type 102 and close the doors. I frantically flick the switch to enable the translation settings on the TARDIS navigational computer. Hey, AI's doing something here. Quickly begins to calculate our next destination. Let's get out of here. Clearly, this is some temporal anomaly. Or the Type 102 TARDIS itself has manifested literally within the time vortex itself. I am certain you all know how dangerous that could be. Tampering with the fabric of space-time hyphen time-space itself. I coolly say, while looking at the Second Doctor's neatly bowl-cut mop. There we go. I always thought his hair looked kind of weird, so, you know, why not? Alright, just give me one more second here. I'm going to go grab some ice for my drink, and I'll be right back. Come on, mouse. You can, like, stop disconnecting and reconnecting every 2 milliseconds here, fam. Alright, there we go. Be right back. You know what? This is a lot of fun. I expected this to be funny and interesting, but this story is going way further than I initially expected it to. I certainly had a few ideas for what I wanted to do after the Doctor Who part of this stream, but wow, this story is just going places, so I gotta keep sticking with it. We have 5 Doctors now in the same TARDIS. Not to mention, we're in the most sophisticated TARDIS in the entire universe, probably. So, Some stuff is going down here. Let's get out of here. Clearly this is some temporal anomaly, or the Type 102 TARDIS itself is manifested literally within the time vortex itself. I'm certain you all know how dangerous that could be, tampering with the fabric of space-time time-space itself, I coolly say, while looking at the Second Doctor's neatly bowl-cut mop. The Second Doctor blinks, clearly not comprehending what I'm saying. Third Doctor and Fourth Doctor give a look of surprise, while the First Doctor smiles in approval. Don't worry about him. Interesting. I always thought the First Doctor gave off an aura of being hyper-intelligent and not caring about his future incarnations. I think I'm gonna say that. You always seemed to not care about the opinions of future incarnations so much. I say to the First Doctor, alright, let's take off. Okay, let me go ahead and like reconvene here, so let me just see here. It's beautiful. Let's see. Second Doctor toggles the coordinate randomizer. I feel like the Fourth Doctor would probably be better at this, but whatever. And then let's see. I mean, we all are the same person, so I guess it makes sense we would be working together as a team. Let's see. Helmic regulator, space-time throttle. And then what's the other implement we're controlling here? Locking down mechanism, time rotor handbrake. Gotta remember the order of operations here. Don't want to cause even further temporal paradoxes. Okay, Second Doctor toggles the coordinate randomizer. And who was operating the Helmic regulator last time? I should just make them all work together here, so that's fine. Third Doctor, the Third Doctor flips the Helmic regulator. The Fourth Doctor sets the space-time throttle to maximum warp, obviously, because he likes to go fast. Maximum warp. Gotta say the right terminology here. Did I hit anything yet? Okay, no. I trigger the locking down mechanism, and the First Doctor pulls the time rotor handbrake. Hey, we're working as a team here. You always seem to not care about the opinions of your future incarnations so much, I say to the First Doctor. Alright, let's take off. Second Doctor toggles the coordinate randomizer. The third Doctor flips the helmet regulator. The fourth Doctor sets the space-time throttle to maximum warp. I trigger the locking down mechanism, and the first Doctor pulls the time rotor handbrake. Suddenly, the TARDIS doors crystallize. We all look at each other, confused for a moment, before realization hits me. Ragnar, I yell. The frick is Ragnar? Did I forget to close the door? I open the TARDIS doors. I forgot to close the TARDIS doors, didn't I? I forgot to close the TARDIS doors. What the heck is Ragnar? Forgot to close the TARDIS doors, and it's not just Ragnar we have forgotten about. Any and all of the various adventures, people, creatures, or other things that we've encountered along the way are incapable of ever entering this TARDIS. Oh my god, is this how the City of the Saved begins? Oh my god. I painfully scream and ask Civitada, the avatar of the Type 102 TARDIS, for help. Painfully scream and ask Civitada, the avatar of the Type 102 TARDIS, for help. But before he can even open his mouth to help, a bounding flash of blinding light hits the TARDIS roof. Interesting. TARDIS doors slam with an unfamiliar shut. The crystalline quality still persists surrounding the TARDIS doors. I can only see the light bounding off of the crystalline structure. What the heck is Ragnar? Before I completely pass out. Due to sheer mental pain. Mental pain! Okay. TARDIS doors slam shut with an unfamiliar. The TARDIS doors slam with an unfamiliar shut. The crystalline quality still persists, surrounding the TARDIS doors. I can only see the light bounding off of the crystalline structure before I completely pass out, due to sheer mental pain. I wake up with a start, finding myself slumped against the wall of the TARDIS console room. I'm still wearing my clothes from last night, and I can see that dusk has come. Okay. I examine the exterior monitor more closely. Where are we? I say, not thinking to check for the others. This is very confusing and interesting. I love it. Examine the exterior monitor more closely. Where are we? I say, not thinking to check for the others. I'd worry, but it seems impossible that they could have escaped death. The TARDIS is perched on an airship. The airship itself is dark and barren, obviously abandoned in mid-flight. Check the temporal coordinates of the time ship. What time period are we in? Check the temporal coordinates of the time ship. We're in 1916. Our time is out of sync. The TARDIS has taken us to the past. Suddenly I remember the events of last night. What is this, an airship? I guess that's not necessarily a Zeppelin. An airship. Were there Zeppelins back in 1916? I think they started happening around like the very late 1800s. Let's see here. I want to keep historical accuracy if I can. Okay, yeah. Zeppelins started appearing in the very late 1800s. That means we landed right before the First World War. First World War. I panic. Where could the others have gone? Did I mess up my recording here? No, okay, that's fine. Where could the others have gone? AI doesn't know what to say. An airship. That means we landed right before the First World War. I panic. Where could the others have gone? I look around and see my own TARDIS still inside of Civitada, the Type 102 TARDIS. Perhaps they're in there. I go to open my TARDIS door and realize that my TARDIS key is that of the First Doctor's. Should still work. I anxiously say to myself, okay, let's see what the AI has to say about this. Look around and see my own TARDIS still inside of Civitada, the Type 102 TARDIS. Perhaps they're in there. I go to open my TARDIS door and realize that my TARDIS key is that of the First Doctor's. Should still work, I anxiously say to myself. I open the door and First Doctor's TARDIS. I'm in the First Doctor's TARDIS. In the past. A past I never experienced. What could have happened to the others? Interesting. So before the Doctor even stole the Hellbent TARDIS, I'm in a... What? Okay. So before this TARDIS ever was stolen, that means I'm in I Am Foreman's TARDIS. Okay. This TARDIS still belongs to I Am Foreman. This is very curious. I scaredly say to myself. I scarily say to myself. I approach the First Doctor's TARDIS console. and search the index file on the computer databanks for any entries by the Time Lords search for any entries by the Time Lords on the subject, the Doctor. This should bring up some really weird happenings. Since this is I Am Foreman's TARDIS, this means that there should be minimal information on the Doctor in this TARDIS. That means this TARDIS still belongs to I Am Foreman, I scarily say to myself. I approach the first Doctor's TARDIS console and search the index file on the computer databanks for any entries by the Time Lords on the subject, the Doctor. I search the index file and find one. The Doctor was said to have landed in the eastern fringe of central London. His whereabouts were unknown by that time. I am. Oh my god. This AI is so good. Like, it has its spelling errors, but I think we've literally landed in either, like, some I Am Foreman timeline, or this is in the middle of the 7-Day Empire or something. Or 11-Day Empire, whichever it is. Okay. I run out of the I run out of the old TARDIS. I run out of the TARDIS back into the, I guess I should say, the Type 40 Mark 1? Because I think when I Am Foreman had it, it was a Mark 1. I'm not going to fret too much about it, but just for distinction for the AI. Back into the Type 102. Quickly check the environmental sensors once again. And then after verifying the relative safety, this is such like a fan post. After verifying the relative safety of the Earth atmosphere, I exit the Type 102 onto the airship and beg Civitada to please stay put. Until I figure out what's going on. I take a, is it perfunctory look around at my surroundings outside the TARDIS. I think I confused the AI with having 5 different versions of myself all in one area. This should do nicely. So it looks like something must have happened to the point where I Am Foreman either had his TARDIS stolen before the Doctor ever stole it, or I Am Foreman landed inside of the Type 102, or the Type 102 landed on top of where I Am Foreman landed his TARDIS. I run out of the Type 40 Mark 1 TARDIS back into the Type 102, quickly check the environmental sensors once again, and then after verifying the relative safety of the Earth atmosphere, I exit the Type 102 onto the airship and beg Civitada to please stay put until I figure out what's going on. take a perfunctory look around at my surroundings outside the TARDIS. Seems like we're on an airship of some kind, but it's pitch black. The Doctor can handle himself in a fight, but he doesn't know how to pilot a time vessel. What? Huh? I mean, I guess that's kind of accurate. He is kind of like a bumbling fool when it comes to operating his own time ship. I peek around the airship to see what I can discover. Clearly, either I am Foreman landed here on an exploratory journey. Pretty sure I Am Foreman was a renegade Time Lord as well. A renegade Time Lord. And Civitada simply materialized on top of his TARDIS, or somehow I Am Foreman knew of and discovered the Type 102 long before the Time Lords did and the temporal wars occurred. This is very curious. Really don't know what to think with all of this happening. How's our music doing? Alright, we're still good. Okay. Peek around the airship to see what I can discover. Clearly, either I Am Foreman landed here on an exploratory journey as a renegade Time Lord, and Civitada simply materialized on top of his TARDIS, or somehow I Am Foreman knew of and discovered the Type 102 long before the Time Lords did and the temporal wars occurred. The airship is clearly falling towards Earth, through the nighttime sky. Suddenly I hear a loud booting sound. I Am must have reactivated his TARDIS and he's taking off. Okay. I rush back into the Type 102 TARDIS. Doors ajar. And make sure to close them this time. I watch I watch intently and look at I Am Foreman's TARDIS. This is like such a meta Doctor Who journey, I love it. I really expected just random journeys outside of the TARDIS, and this is like blowing my mind with how much it's like going in depth. Rush back into the Type 102 TARDIS, doors ajar. Make sure to close them this time. Watch intently and look at I Am Foreman's TARDIS. The TARDIS is bigger on the inside than the outside, of course. The doors open with an almost mechanical sound and close several times before they close. What? Doctor? This could be one of the few times the Doctor is like competing with I Am Foreman to obtain his TARDIS. So this could just be a timeline where the original Doctor and I Am Foreman are competing for ownership of I Am Foreman's TARDIS. Doctor, I ask aloud? Doctor who? I'm not sure who else to call, since as far as I can tell, the only other person on board is I Am. I knock on the closed doors of the Hellbent Mark 1 Type 40 TARDIS. I come from Gallifrey as well. But I speak as a fellow explorer, not an inquisitor for the Time Lords. Please, if anyone is there, speak with me. Talk to me. I cry out in desperation. I feel like that deserves a exclamation mark here. Because this is like extremely confusing, even in the Doctor Who timelines, or in the canon. I knock on the closed door of the Hellbent Mark I Type 40 TARDIS. I come from Gallifrey as well, but I speak as a fellow explorer, not an inquisitor for the Time Lords. Please, if anyone is there, talk to me, I cry out in desperation. The doors of the Hellbent Mark I TARDIS remain closed. I look around the room for something to distract IM. If you so much as move, let alone dematerialize, which I doubt you can, in such an advanced... See, I'm going for like the higher technology play here. Such an advanced time ship as this. Then I will throw both time ships permanently into the Time Vortex. I proclaim, proffering a gamble. Did I spell that wrong? Proffering? Ugh. Offering a gamble. No. Pushing a gamble. And hoping my bluff pays off. I amble to the controls of the Type 102. And I would think Civitada would try and protect her own time ship. So I'm just going to say Civitada glimmers and appears nearby. So now we've got like a sort of like some dominance or something. Who's the most adequate Time Lord to fly right now? If you so much as move, let alone dematerialize, which I doubt you can in such an advanced time ship as this, then I will throw both time ships permanently into the Time Vortex, I proclaim, pushing a gamble and hoping my bluff pays off. I amble to the controlla of the Type 102. You know, I guess that kind of fits. Controlla could be like a slang or something. Civitada glimmers and appears nearby. The Hellbent Mark I is a mighty ship, but the Type 102 is, well, a much more advanced time travel capsule. Civitada forcibly opens the doors to the Type 40 and ensures that it stays in place. Meanwhile, of the time ships avatar's own volition. I see on the exterior monitor readout that we are hurtling through space and time. Space and time once again. This is very curious. Civitada forcibly opens the door to the Type 40 and ensures that it stays in place. Meanwhile, of the time ship's avatar's own volition, I see on the exterior monitor readout that we are hurtling through space and time once again. I hit the controls to connect the time ships to one another. As I expected, they are linked to each other. I test the connection and find it to be stable and secure. Offered no other options. This is exciting. The AI knows exactly what it's talking about here. I exit the Type 102 time ship. Still inside, but yet still juxtapositionally not. I figured that would be spelled wrong, or not even a word. Juxtaposition, still inside, but yet still not inside. As a total physical juxtaposition. And enter into the famous original Type 40 that was stolen by the Doctor. Myself. All that time ago. Civitada watches on from within the Type 102's interior. What could be considered the Type 40's exterior. Excellent. All the logic works out here, and the lore is taking over. The canon just fits so well. Civitada forcibly opens the doors to the Type 40 and ensures that it stays in place. Meanwhile, of the time ship avatar's own volition, I see on the exterior monitor readout that we are hurtling through space and time once again. I hit the controls to connect the time ships to one another. As I expected, they are linked to each other. I test the connection and find it to be stable and secure. Offered no other options, I exit the Type 102 time ship, still inside but yet not inside, as a total physical juxtaposition, and enter into the famous original Type 40 that was stolen by the Doctor and myself all that time ago. Civitada watches on from within the Type 102's interior, what could be considered the Type 40's exterior. Come on, come on, come on, I say under my breath as the TARDIS falls once again. I am inside. Inside, I am Foreman's TARDIS interior once again. Yet this time, I am utterly convinced someone is here. I'm inside I Am Foreman's TARDIS interior once again, yet this time I am utterly convinced someone is here. I look around at my surroundings with caution. Is someone here with me? Who's there? I question, being careful to keep my voice down. I approach the TARDIS console once again. Keeping adamantly quiet and on my toes. This is going in so many circles. I'm just like exiting a TARDIS, going back into a TARDIS. Who's there? I question, being careful to keep my voice down. I approach the TARDIS console once again, keeping adamantly quiet and on my toes. One question, I say. Why are we falling out of the sky? The figure in the shadows is nondescript. A nondescript, androgynous-looking humanoid. Who are you? Is this actually the Other? This could be the Other from the Doctor's past, or, I guess, a parallel timeline. Who are you? I ask out loud, somehow sure that the question will be unanswered. Are you the Other? I ask in desperate curiosity, yet limitless caution. This could also be somebody else. The Other gazes at me with an enigmatic look. Then, interesting. Why did we come to 1916? I ask, knowing that it encompasses so much more than this. This is incredible. This is a legendary story. This could almost fit into the original canon of the Doctor Who series. Why did we come to 1916, I ask, knowing that it encompasses so much more than this? The Other gazes at me with their eyes. Why did you send me here, I ask, knowing that it is a risk to do so, but desperate for an answer. I approach the Other. And what of Omega and Rassilon? I think that's how you spell Rassilon. Let me look this up. I just want to be canonical here. Yes, 2 S's, 1 L. I cautiously ask, knowing that any answer whatsoever could potentially annihilate this and every universe ever to exist. I approach the Other, and what of Omega and Rassilon, I cautiously ask, knowing that any answer whatsoever could potentially annihilate this and every universe ever to exist. You should know, the Other says in a chilling yet familiar voice. I don't, I say in all honesty. The Other lets out a sigh. It seems unlikely. Please, by all means, use whatever method you choose to explain what is happening. I was going to say what is going on here, but we're not necessarily in a here. I defeatedly... Really? I say in a defeated tone. This is crazy. Please, by all means, use whatever method you choose to explain what is happening, I say in a defeated tone. I get within one step of the other. Why are we here? Why do these two worlds collide at both of their relevant beginnings and ends? I ask, partially, full well knowing the answer, and at the same time, not having a singular clue what is going on. This is like tying multiple timelines together. I love it. I get within one step of the other. Why are we here? Why do these two worlds collide at both of their relevant beginnings and ends? I ask, partially full well knowing the answer, and at the same time not having a singular clue what is going on. I can answer both those questions, the other says with a deep voice. Oh, how? I ask, my heart beating in vain. The other explains. We are here because we are supposed to be here. I look at the monitor in the Type 40 and see that we are no longer hurtling to the ground. In fact, it's actually a good semicolon, even though it was accidental. In fact, we are in the Gallifreyan black hole shipyard. We're saved, I say with relief. We are not saved yet, young one, the other says. You still don't understand. It's your world and your futures. Let me try this again. I look at the monitor in the Type 40 and see that we are no longer hurtling to the ground. In fact, we are in the Gallifreyan black hole shipyard. We're saved, I say with relief. We're not saved yet, young one, the other says. You still don't understand. It's your world and your future that is at stake. Then why are the timelines of ourselves colliding like this? One moment. Keyboard's cutting out again. One moment. I am the doctor. The next moment, we are the doctor. Should probably capitalize the doctor just for like story relevance here. One moment, I am the doctor. Then, the next moment, we are the doctor. Now, I encounter you. The heralded, legendary progenitor before everything even started to begin to happen. Civitada watches idly, yet focused in the background. Okay. See, everything is in quotes. I state, speaking from Time Lord history and my own. Let's cue up another song here. Let's see, anything else that I can really, anything that's no copyrights. I'm good with that. I'll take that, you know? Alright, let's see here. This looks good. It's kind of eerie. This might be fitting, though. It's got lyrics in it. I was trying to go with, like, kind of a proto-vaporwave vibe. Let me see if I can find something else here. Yeah, this is the ending to the Doctor Who anime right here. Galactic Sounds. Grunt Wave? That sounds really weird. Anything else? Probably, like, preferably not just K-pop. This looks good. Here we go. We had to end the Doctor Who anime just to start a new season of it here. In the span of 30 seconds. Like I was saying earlier, though, I had some other plans for this, and the story just got so good that I think we will try and continue doing a future AI dungeon. Maybe not Doctor Who related, but just try out some other stuff I like. But this has just blown me away. Then why are the timelines of ourselves colliding like this? One moment, I am the Doctor. Then the next moment, we are the Doctor. Now I encounter you, the heralded legendary progenitor, before everything even started to begin to happen. I state, speaking from Time Lord history and my own. Civitada watches idly, yet focused in the background. You young ones never listen. You just blurt things out and expect everyone to understand, the other says in an exasperated tone. Then why don't you explain? And I listen. I gasp. Fine, the other snaps. I'll explain, but do you really want to know? Yes, I say succinctly. The other steps. Just a half step forward. The other speaks and explains. Okay, I guess I should speak for the other here, just because I would know what would happen in this scenario. Normally, I would think the other would just be the proto-doctor, the man who made the first time machine, basically. So, I exist at the point between both the first TARDIS and the last TARDIS. I was here as but a simple person, and I am there. I should say I was there as but a simple person, and I am here. And also, I reside there and everywhere at the beginning and ending of time and space. The other soothingly remembers. The other steps just a half step forward. The other speaks and explains. I exist at the point between both the first TARDIS and the last TARDIS. I was there as but a simple person, and I am here, and I also reside there and everywhere at the beginning and ending of time and space. The other soothingly remembers. You're a point in between everything, where the first TARDIS and the last TARDIS converged. You're a ship so old you predate the universe, I explain. Yes. The other continues. I was there in the previous universe. And I am there in the next universe. The other goes on. Yes, the other continues. I was there in the previous universe, and I am there in the next universe. The other goes on. I am the Doctor. I am your enemy. You must kill me, but you can't. Oh, and the Daleks are my allies. Why, I ask? The other speaks. Oh, you who are I? You do not know. For it is both I and you who jumped into the, I don't know the official term for this, but I'm pretty sure this is close enough. Genetic recombinator. As one who was venerated as a deity to the Time Lords and was reborn as but a lowly, what's the word? Reborn as a mortal, there we go. Reborn as a mortal to continue the undying legacy. Why, I ask. The other speaks. Oh, you who are I, you do not know. For it is both I and you who jumped into the genetic recombinator, as one who was venerated as a deity to the Time Lords, and was reborn as but a mortal, to continue the undying legacy, the other pictures. I know all of this. I remember. Why? What is and what was the point of all of it? I desperately ask. Civitada approaches closer. I know all of this. I remember. Why? What is and what was the point of all of it? I desperately ask. Civitada approaches closer. That is a long story, and one that I don't know, although I must admit I find myself with some curiosity about it as well. Then, even you do not know. I slump over. Civitada takes my shoulder. The living time ship is witnessing its own history unfolding right before its very eyes. And yet, I am the one being comforted. One being comforted. Then, even you do not know. I slump over. Civitada takes my shoulder. The living time ship is witnessing its own history unfolding right before its very eyes. And yet, I am the one being comforted. I'm sorry, I don't know then, the other apologizes. But tell me, what is that? What is it that you do? The other asks me. I'm a placement officer. Am I am foreman? I look at my hands. I look around. The world seems to be swirling. I see on the TARDIS exterior monitor that we are now materialized inside of the city of the saved. Who I ask. I suppose I really was simple person with a wacky box, and I pictured myself as an important figure. But in all reality, even in this advanced and successful society I created, I was just another person in the machine of the collective of everyone and everything. Feel like going mad. Am I am foreman? What about the others who started the Time Lord Society besides me? Was I them too? I think to myself. This is getting super existential. I love it. I suppose I really was a simple person with a wacky box, and I pictured myself as an important figure. But in all reality, even in this advanced and successful society I created, I was just another person in the machine of the collective of everyone and everything. I feel like I'm going mad. Am I am Foreman? What about the others who started the Time Lord Society besides me? Was I them too? I think to myself. Where are the others, I ask? I think it's time for Civitada to speak. Civitada speaks. The others? Oh, they're here. They're just not, around. You must mean the 400, the other says. What about Ian, I ask? What of Susan? And Barbara? What of... This is gonna be such a trip to the past. What of Vicky? And Steven? What about... what's her name? What about Joe? Where is... Romana? Who else am I thinking of? Ace. I'm obviously not gonna try and get everybody here, but where is Romana? Ace. Who's the Ninth Doctor's companion again? Rose. Mickey. 10th Doctor. Who does the 10th Doctor have? Can't remember her name for some dumb reason. Let me look this up really quick. Watch the BBC steal this story as part of the 13 Doctors timeline. That'd be great. Let's see. Donna. Martha, there we go. Rose, Mickey, Martha, Donna. Where are Amy and Rory? What of Clara? And then who's the 13th Doctor have? No, it's been a little while since I watched the 13th Doctor. Graham. I feel like Graham is like the most relevant out of all of them. I'll try and find the other two companions here. Ryan, Graham, and Yaz. What happened to Ryan and Yaz? Is it finally over? Even though I just found out that I am the timeless child. Is this the end? Do all Time Lords suffer this fate? Please, I beg you, I implore you, please answer me. I think I'm gonna go with ellipses there. I beg. I grovel and collapse. I say as I collapse, groveling. Okay, that is definitely a word. Okay, whew, putting in way more work than the AI is here. What of Susan and Barbara? What of Vicky and Stephen? What about Joe? Where is Romana, Ace, Rose, Mickey, Martha, Donna? Where are Amy and Rory? What of Clara? What happened to Ryan, Graham, and Yaz? Is it finally over? Even though I just found out that I am the timeless child? Is the end? Do all Time Lords suffer this fate? Please, I beg you, I implore you, please answer me. I say as I collapse, groveling. I am very sorry to tell you that all your companions are dead. What? No, they're not? No. Because they all live on in me. Confidently say, rising back up to my feet. I step forward. The other steps forward. Civitada steps forward. No, because they all live on in me, I confidently say, rising back up to my feet. I step forward. The other steps forward. Civitada steps forward. You must be the other, the most important person in the universe. I am. I am, the other replies, but I haven't broken yet. Will you break me, or will you join me? I must think about it. All of my friends, all of my enemies, all of them and everyone. They were important, weren't they? Say, with the utmost certainty. Each and every single living being I continue. Should probably add a comma here instead of a period. This is like active story writing at this point now. Not even like AI generation. All of them. Every single last one. I conclude. All of my friends, all of my enemies, all of them and everyone, they were important, weren't they? I say with the utmost certainty. Each and every single living being, I continue, all of them, every single last one, I conclude. The other is quiet. I don't know anything about you. You must be a Time Lord like me. No. You don't? No, I'm nothing like you. Then who are you? I command. Then who are you? I command. The other stares into my eyes. Finally it answers. I am the question. The screen goes black. Feel like I should just say who. Yeah, probably just who. Ho. Who? I ask out loud, beginning to feel a little uneasy. I am the question. Then we are the answer. I join hands with Civitada. Then we are the answer. I join hands with Civitada. No, we are the question. Oh well, one of us is. Anyway, let's get on with this. You don't know where the key to time is? No. The last I checked. I forget her name. Princess Astra, that's right. The last I checked, the Princess Astra was the last piece to the key to time. Should probably capitalize 2 here. Conclude? That must mean that the last person to ever touch the key to time was likely either human or an evolution of human. That means that they permanently reside within Civitada in what's the word I'm looking for here? Invulnerable stasis. Probably shouldn't capitalize it. Invulnerable, perpetual, therefore, the key to time is within Civitada, or at least the most important piece. If not all of it. Pretty sure the 4th Doctor scattered the key to time. Let me just add quotes here. And I'm just using logical deduction here. We're on like the verge of universes here, and I'm like, yeah, I know where the key to time is, bro. The last I checked, the Princess Astra was the last piece to the key to time. I conclude, that must mean that the last person to ever touch the key to time was likely either human or an evolution of human. That means that they permanently reside within Civitada in an invulnerable, perpetual stasis. Therefore, the key to time is within Civitada, or at least the most important piece, if not all of it. I logically conclude. How do you know all this? She told me. Who? The question. Oh. Let's go get the key to time. We enter Civitada's avatar through walking into them. We erupt into the city of the saved and seek out the living key to time. This is like not going the way I expected it to be. We enter Civitada's avatar through walking into them. We erupt into the city of the saved and seek out the living key to time. The question is, where could it be? This is crazy. The other and I search for just a moment, but what feels like unending unending something. Like, what would you use a measure of time for? Like, universes, unending universes of time. The avatar of the the avatar of the city within lowers from the sky with the Princess Astra, key to time, in tow. Billions upon trillions. Pretty sure there's trillions in Civitada, I don't know. Of humanoids watch along in awe. The other and I search for just a moment, but what feels like unending universes of time. The avatar of the city within lowers from the sky with the Princess Astra, key to time in tow. Billions upon trillions of humanoids watch along in awe. Finally, we find ourselves within the chamber of the Princess Astra. Before us, the avatar of the key to time stands, looking as exactly it did when it was on TV. What? Okay, I guess, yeah, we're looking at the city of the save through the time ship monitor, I guess. Princess Astra. Or perhaps Romana II. What say you? Why are we here in the city of the saved? Why have I encountered the other progenitor to the Time Lords? Where does this all end? And where does it begin? I feel like I'm just writing myself into the city of the saved at this point. Sup, how are you doing? I watched your Time Vortex channel. Always nice to get the notification for a new stream like Ocarina of Time, Randomizer Glitch Exhibition. I'm about to design BRB offline screen for your channel. Find the URL in my profile banner is perfect. If you're not a bot, then thanks. And if you are a bot, then prepare to get banned from my channel, fam. But hey, if you're legit gonna make me some BRB and offline screens, then hey, go for it. That's like some of the few art I haven't actually made. Okay. Princess Astra, or perhaps Romana too, what say you? Why are we here? In the city of the saved, why have I encountered the other, progenitor to the Time Lords? Where does this all end and where does it begin, I question. Well, Doctor, the other says. Well, I respond. I shall be satisfied if you don't end up the same way the last person who knew the answer to that question ended up. I mean, do you want me to answer honestly here? It's like I'm literally talking to the lore of Doctor Who. I'll tell you what I think. And what I know. We are all the same person. Living in temporal stasis. There was a great temporal war. Should probably capitalize great because that is kind of relevant for this. It was the last great time war, at least once. There was a great temporal war. Perhaps it has already ended? Okay. It's doing the thing. It's gonna like keep popping in and out now. Perhaps it has already ended? Perhaps it is still going? Perhaps it has never happened. Bro, what are you doing? Perhaps? Stop it! Stop clicking! Did I tell you to click? Perhaps it has never happened. Continue on. I am absolutely certain. Give me 1 second here. I'm getting swept away by this AI dungeon. I'm having so much fun with it. Okay, here we go. This should work. I'm absolutely certain of this one fact. Being that I am the timeless child surely this time ship was designed to protect, preserve, and further all of myself, which is both the humanity contained within and everyone like us outside. Therefore, you know as little as I do. That means we're still in a massive come on, man. In a temporal paradox. The main focal point. The Doctor. The question. Doctor Who? The answer remain silent after speaking my mind. This is gonna be a banger. Of course, the AI doesn't know what to do. Okay, I don't know super much about the City of the Saved. Let me just check our elapsed time here. We're at 3:30 almost. I don't really know much about the City of the Saved besides the fact that I think it's cool. Perhaps the answer is not important. Perhaps we will find the answer in just another moment. Perhaps it never mattered. Perhaps it was always important. Come on, AI, you can do something here. Bro, come on. Alright, let me catch up here then, I guess. I shall be satisfied if you don't end up the same way the last person who knew the answer to that question ended up. Where does this all end and where does it begin? I question. Well, Doctor, the other says. Well, I respond. I shall be satisfied if you don't end up the same way the last person who knew the answer to that question ended up. I'll tell you what I think and what I know. We are all the same person, living in temporal stasis. There is a great temporal war. Perhaps it has already ended, perhaps it is still going, perhaps it has never happened. I continue on. I am absolutely certain of this one fact. Being that I am the timeless child, surely this time ship was designed to protect, preserve, and further all of myself, which is both the humanity contained within and everyone like us outside. Therefore, other, you know as little as I do. That means that means we're still in a temporal paradox. The main focal point, the Doctor. The question, Doctor who? The answer. I remain silent after speaking my mind. Perhaps the answer is not important. Perhaps we'll find the answer in just another moment. Perhaps it never mattered. Perhaps it was always important. See? True. I am Foreman. Step out of the other. Just as we stepped in to Civitada. See the true I am Foreman step out of the other, just as we stepped in to Civitada. Doctor who, he says. The key to time is turned in and the Doctor is freed. The question disappears, never to be seen again. The light shines. Suddenly, I feel it. I am everyone, everything, everywhere, in all universes, in the multiversal omniverse. In an instant, I feel that I am back on my time ship. This time, the doors are no longer crystal. I wander in my mind. And remember that I am Civitada, Laura Tobin, Sylvan Kesh, Sylvankesh. Holy cow, I'm gonna have to scroll up so far to find this. Let's see. Sylvankesh. Yes, okay. Lord Tobin, Sylvankesh, Mary Culver. What's Civitata's other name? Ah yes, Compassion 5. How could I not remember this? I could write in the 8th Doctor stepping out as Civitata here so easily. I'm not the authors of the book though, so I probably shouldn't try. I am Civitata, Laura Tobin, Sylvankesh, Mary Culver. Compassion 5. I am the Doctor. Suddenly, what was once a magnificent city of every humanoid that ever existed now Nancy Sinatra. Okay. My mouse is just moving wherever it wants right now. I'm not even doing that. It's because it's charging while I'm typing, and this thing is just crazy. Mpash and Kuan Yin. Mpash. Bro. Stop doing random stuff while I'm typing. I am the Doctor. Suddenly what was once a magnificent city of every humanoid that ever existed now is just a simple time ship. Dude, mouse, move out of the way. So now it's just a simple time ship. And I am a time traveler. Born to the Time Lords. Stop. Born to the Time Lords. Traveling in a modest time travel capsule. I look back. Okay. I look back. Gotta assert myself to this text. This stupid keyboard won't respond. I look back at all my previous... Stop! Previous incarnations. And in another instant, I forget most, if not all, of them. Once again, in my Type 40 Mark III TARDIS, travel the Time Vortex, seeking adventure. I chuckle to myself. Doctor? The Doctor? Doctor Who? The light shines. Suddenly I feel it. I am everyone, everything, everywhere, in all universes, in the multiversal omniverse. In an instant, I feel that I am back on my time ship. This time the doors are no longer crystal. I wander in my mind and remember that I am Civitada, Laura Tobin, Sylvan Kesh, Nancy Sinatra, Mary Culver, Mpash, Kuan Yin, Compassion 5. I am the Doctor. Suddenly, what was once a magnificent city of every humanoid that ever existed, now is just a simple time ship, and I am a time traveler born to the Time Lords, traveling in a modest time travel capsule. Look back at all of my previous incarnations, and in another instant, I forget most if not all of them. Once again, in my Type 40 Mark III TARDIS, travel the Time Vortex seeking an adventure. Chuckle to myself, the Doctor? Doctor Who? Will that be the answer of what I am? Perhaps in time, we'll see. Well, that was AI Dungeon. Thanks for checking it out. That was super fun. Went on a little bit longer than I anticipated, but you know what? This is the perfect story for me to check out this game for the first time. I just enjoyed it. It was super awesome. Went in so many circles and almost like went places, but it didn't go anywhere, and then it went everywhere. I love it. I feel like this is totally something I would write myself anyway, so the AI contributions worked out really well. And I think next time I play this, if we get around to playing this again, I will most likely just switch off random subjects, you know, Cloud Strife throws a watermelon at my face, etc. But this was super duper fun. I really just had a blast doing this, and, you know, it got some stress off. I was thinking of playing Ocarina of Time again, twice in one day, and I was getting frustrated that I wasn't really making progress in that so much. So this was just a welcome change of pace. I loved this. And yeah, I guess that's AI Dungeon. Thank you very much for watching, stopping by. Thank you for everybody who decided to check out the stream. And those of you who checked out the VOD on YouTube, thanks again. And I guess there's one last thing I want to say here. Here we go. The AI doesn't know what to say. Here, I'll help you out with this one. Doctor Who ending theme. There you go. Now you know exactly what happens there, AI. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Roll credits. There you go. Alright. Go ahead and cue the TARDIS sound effect here. And we'll take off into the Time Vortex. So, like I said, thanks for checking me out. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.